Hello everyone! Today, we are challenging Paco, a fellow double top 100 finisher in the Goha Rush festivals. And if you've been around my Discord server, you know they will take any opportunity to run Light Sorcerer of Sanctity. This is Rush Duel's emblematic pay-to-win card, being a generic utility monster that can go into nearly any deck, as long as you're willing to open your wallet. But can you really buy your way to victory? Paco has instructed 3 decks, utilizing the cards from each structure, and will attempt to humiliate me in a series of duels. However, I believe in my free-to-play comrades, and as such, I will be using Harpies. Or, more specifically, I will go to DLM and copy the cheapest deck I can find, card for card. Let's jump into the duels. I am extremely confident. I've been owning my deck for hours and hours, playtesting, grinding. Those auto-duel NPCs had no idea what was coming, and neither does Paco. Looks like they win the first coin flip, and our hand is actually not too bad. We draw our one of Dragon's Inferno, and we even have access to some dragon monsters. They have foolishly played a face-down card right into our trap. And by trap, I mean spell. A turn 1 ace breaker. So, they think they are safe with a 2500 body, but they know not the rage of the Inferno. Let's go ahead and hope this is the Widespread Ruin. And it is. We are simply a skilled player. Next up, we are of course summoning the Harpies pet dragon. Hysteric Force is going to boost this dragon up high enough to clear Acebreaker. And we get in for another 1400 with our winged dragon. We have established an indomitable field of dragons, harnessing the power of the wind. We will not let them catch their breath. And Amigo comes in, and that is going to be able to use the effect because our Harpy is level 7. So we are expecting a 3500 attack point monster. And it is actually the 3600 Barrel Dragon. This card can single-handedly clear the field. Unfortunately, money cannot rig the coin flip, so our pet dragon sticks around. Though, with the Avant Wolf, they are going to be able to clear our board. Alright, we may be behind, but we are not out of this yet. We've drawn our Widespread Ruin. Unfortunately, Harpy Lady Sisters is only a 2100 monster. How could we possibly defeat the Barrel Dragon? First, we Tribute Summon Harpy Lady Sisters. Then, we activate its effect by shuffling away 2 monsters from our graveyard. It is now equal in power to the Barrel Dragon. And then, thanks to Hysteric Force, we are able to push it past its limits, all the way up to 3100. Next, Harpy Lady is coming in, and we throw down a few face-down cards. Let's head into battle. Barrel Dragon falls, and Harpy Lady will take out the Silver Fang as well. Victory is already in our grasps. They may try to attack, and I would say the ruin would be widespread, but the thing is, this actually only destroys 1 monster. It's really more like targeted ruin. Very specific ruin. Alright, we see that Torn of the Windweaver. Switching our sisters to defense mode to exploit the 0 defense. We actually don't even need to use the Widespread Ruin here. We will take 200 damage, no problem. Viv actually does miss out on 100 extra damage by swinging with the Torna first. Our move. But we find no high-level monsters. That could be an issue. We can swing in for 100 over the Magic Juggler. Is that even worth it, though? I suppose we might as well. We're gonna go ahead and set a monster. And since we think they might have a Torna next turn, you know, maybe, we're gonna set the ones with higher attack. And then we'll get in for a solid 100 damage. Slow and Steady wins the race. Torna is using the effect as expected, and Paco targets the 1400. And here comes the one and only Light Sorcerer of Money. Paco only continues bringing their own downfall, paying 300 life to use the effect. And now Acebreaker is here, but Acebreaker will not be sticking around, as we have a special little trap. First, we summon Tyhone, and we bring in Harpy Lady Sisters L. Then Cybertech Alligator, for another way to put on the pressure. Activating Hysteric Force, boosting our Harpy Lady by 500. Let's battle. Swing in for 1,000. Swing in with the Faith Bird. A level 4 lower monster can only have up to 1400 defense, so this is a guaranteed lethal blow. Harpies win. Game number 1. Paco is up first again, but now we have the Harpy Lady Sisters R, which is interesting in this matchup, as Acebreaker is completely unable to destroy it with its effect, and neither can Barrel Dragon. Paco brings in another Acebreaker turn 1, but once again, we have the out. We could use the Harpy Lady Sisters if we tribute off Harpy Lady and Tyhone. However, I'd rather get rid of the Trick Pigeon and just run over it via the skill. Swing over, and then as long as that's not a 1400 defender, we should be fine. Turn of the Wind Weaver is going to be able to out one of the 2 maximum pieces. And we draw into another Harpy Lady Sisters. This time, we do have the ability to cycle things back with Sisters Effect. Throw down a face down card and a second one. Activate the skill. Harpy Lady Sisters gets a buff. And then, rather than boosting a Harpy Ladies, what we are going to do is return these 2 cards into the deck and boost Faith Bird, allowing us to play around Widespread Ruin by having 3 monsters all capable of clearing both monsters on the opponent's board. Let's battle. And it looks like the face down is a bluff. The Harpy Lady Sisters gets in for 2100. However, by keeping a card on the field, Paco can generate card advantage on the next turn, swapping out that face down for an Aim Eagle. Do remember though, Aim Eagle only triggers if we have a level 7 or higher monster. So, their bosses are stuck at 2500. Paco Pikachu generates advantage, and then Ultimate Bond is going to shuffle a card away. They reveal a Barrel Dragon, and what do they get rid of? Something in hand. So whatever card they have face down, they think is worth keeping. And here we go. This time, they do land it, before bringing in a Light Sorcerer of Sanctity. Unfortunately, we do not have access to a way to save this. Counter Pigeons reduces their monster attack by 700, putting it at 19. Just barely not enough. Which means, I think we save the Counter Pigeons. If the Barrel Dragon was only 1 level higher, we would have been in a pretty good spot. However, we do have a face down Talismanic Seal Array to Talismanic Seal this game. And with a Harpy Lady Sisters left side, we are not going to be vulnerable to a Widespread Ruin. Let's go ahead and activate our skill, Hysteric Force, boosting our monster to 2600. Then, we throw down the rest of our cards for safety. Currently, this deals 0 damage to the Barrel Dragon, but after a Seal Array, it will deal exactly 1400, getting in for an exact lethal. As long as this trap card does not stop us, this is game. And the Harpies have taken down deck number 1, Ace Breaker. There is some chance that this Harpy Lady does wall out an attack. Cards like Magic Juggler are likely to make an appearance in these decks. Paco reveals they are on Magician's Shuffle. Or at least I think they are. But they didn't use the skill to boost this Dark Magician girl. And just as predicted, Harpy Lady survives an attack from Magic Juggler. And now, it's time to go in with some slightly stronger monsters. Harpy Lady Sisters is going to tribute over the Harpy Lady. And then we summon in Faithbird, a monster capable of dealing with the Magic Juggler. And we summon Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress, number 1. And we throw down a Face Down. Let's activate Hysteric Force to boost Harpy Lady Sisters to 2600 attack. And then clear out this field. Shuffle in 2 monsters. And boost Winged Dragon, Guardian of the Fortress. And now, all we have to do is attack straight ahead. One thing you cannot buy with the structure deck is spell trap removal. No Ghost Cyclones, no Rage of the Beasts, no Magical Stream. But we do see a Magic Curtain, providing their Dark Sword Magician with immunity to the Widespread Ruin, at least for this turn. What else are they going to bring in? Here comes the Light Sorcerer of Sanctity. Unfortunately, has not been able to get 2 light spellcasters onto the board. Though we do see them use the Magician's Shuffle this turn. So presumably, they are bringing in another Dark Magician Girl. And 2 copies of 2500 bodies could be an issue. However, this is actually a misplay. Since you didn't do it on turn 2, I think it was wrong to do it here. Since I have the Widespread Ruin, I'm going to be able to destroy the 2500 attack point Dark Magician Girl, even though Dark Sword Magician is immune to the effect. By giving me another 2500 monster, I'm able to just get a ton of value. They swing in with Gazelle and clear out a couple of my monsters. But we are very much in this game, especially when we draw a Harpy Lady Sisters again. Let's go ahead and tribute off the Harpy Girl. Then we bring in Harpy Lady. And throw 2 cards face down. Activate skill. Hysteric Force. Boosting up to 2600. And then, we can choose to gain another 500. But I would rather decrease their monster by 14. Let's shuffle back all 4 monsters. And then enter the battle phase. We need to make sure we clear Gazelle, as our low-level monsters are unable to do so. And now, Paco is on the ropes, with only 800 life points remaining. Let's see if they are able to draw a Miracle out. We see a Pakachu, recycling a Vanilla monster. Will this extra card advantage come in handy? Keep in mind, we do have 2 copies of Counter Pigeons already face down. Without a significant debuff, a Dark Magician Girl is not going to be able to clear the Harpy Lady Sisters. However, they bring in a Dark Sword Magician, but minus 700 brings it to 18. And that is going to be a lethal blow. Flip a monster face up with Hysteric Force before going in for game. We are up first. We could bring in 2 copies of the Harpy Lady Sisters, but I don't think it's super necessary. We want to keep them around to clear out the potential wall of Dark Magician Girls Paco is able to bring in. It's not hard for their deck to draw 2 2500 monsters, and we need to be able to bring in 2 Harpy Lady Sisters in order to deal with that. There is a chance, though, we brick on too many high levels next turn. Let's find out what happens. And we draw a pet dragon. This is exactly what I was worried about. We can do our best by throwing down the Counter Pigeons, and then flipping up the Dragon's Inferno. If that's widespread, we get it out of the way. And we do. Paco has drawn Widespread Ruin twice, but we have cleared it both times. Let's activate Hysteric Force and boost this Harpy. I probably actually should have just gotten rid of this from my hand, but that's okay. we are going to get in for a solid 100 damage. No need to overcomplicate things. Let's pass turn and see how it goes. We see 2 copies of Silverwolf, putting the Harpy Lady Sisters down to just 1700 attack. And then Monster Reincarnation for a 2500. That is going to be good enough. Remember, Counter Pigeons makes Dark Sword Magician 18. Just barely able to survive after my trap card. But the question, do we bring in 2 Harpy Lady Sisters by ditching the Widespread Ruin? Or do we keep it around? I think we're going to tilt Paco more if we resolve another Widespread Ruin. And that'll help increase our chance of victory. So we're bringing in the Pet Dragon and setting a card. The Pet Dragon only being 2000 instead of 2100 could actually come up here, as Silverwolf brings it down to 18 rather than 19. And now we tie with a 2500 Dark Sword Magician. A Dark Magician Girl also goes to 19. So summoning 2 Dark Magician Girls is going to be lethal. As I can widespread 1, the second one would take out the Pet Dragon. And then the third card swings indirectly for game. Had we summoned the Harpy Lady Sisters, we would have had another monster set on the board. And Counter Pigeons isn't even a legal activation on the dragon. So that is it. I misplayed and lost game number 2. This board isn't that scary. Whatever that final card is presumably a Pakachu, as they didn't choose to summon it and attack. We're going to use that knowledge to our advantage, and swing over it with a Trick Pigeon. Let's bring in a couple of Faith Bird, and throw down our Counter Pigeons. Unfortunately, we also have yet to find any boss monsters. But no problem. Proceed to battle. Swing in, and it was a Luminous Shaman. Not quite what I expected, but along the same lines. And I actually just triggered Paco's Curtain of Sparks. But they let the attack through. I'm not going to crash into the Gazelle. I will simply pass turn. We know one of the 2 face down cards is Curtain of Sparks. So if they set a new card, I'll probably target that instead, since it has a chance to be the Widespread Ruin. I'm expecting the other card is probably just like a Magic Curtain. And still no high levels from my opponent's side either. My Counter Pigeons don't do very much here. They go ahead and simply pass turn. And there we go, some nice boss monsters. Let's bring in Taihone. And then summon a Harpies Pet Dragon. And we want the dragon to eat the Widespread if possible. However, we are going to try to target the Widespread. New card set. And it is, once again, Widespread Ruin. And now that we've destroyed theirs, we will set ours. And summon Harpy Lady Sisters before swinging in for as much damage as we can. We are pretty sure they have Curtain of Sparks, but we are boosted well beyond the point where that matters. I have 2 boss monsters and 3 trap cards. Things are looking especially grim here. They bring out a Dark Sword Magician, who they actually could have special summoned, as we had a Harpies Pet Dragon, and we did clear the board last turn. We are going to Widespread and finish the game. Paco concedes. There is a pretty good argument to actually summoning the Harpy Ladies here, as the Raidacross deck excels at bringing in a lone monster above 2100. The other support monsters like Hilt typically wouldn't be able to deal with my boss. We see a Rightful Magic debuffing the Faith Bird. But it looks like they didn't actually draw any boss monster. And with only 1 card face down, we are able to play around Widespread by boosting the Harpy Lady Sisters L. We are keeping the cards in graveyard for something along the lines of Talismanic Seal Array, should we draw it later. And they do have a trap card, but they are not using it. It is entirely possible. It is the Widespread Ruin, but our Harpy Lady Sisters is walling it. Riv is up and is activating Daybreak Order, the Raidacross skill. Not only does it let you search out the missing piece of your combo, but once per duel, you also get Rightful Magic. which is actually a pretty bad skill effect. So many skills. Staple in a free attack boost every turn. Dragonic Resonance provides 500 attack to 2 monsters every single turn without fail. Daybreak Order can only search the rightful magic once per duel, and it forces you to run the card in your deck, rather than just being for free. And that means you're able to brick on it. And then they go with rightful magic. Debuffing the middle Harpy Lady Sisters. Harpy Lady goes down, but they keep my left side alive, meaning no widespread ruin is possible. We have bricked a little bit, but what we can do is Hysteric Force. We will boost up the Harpy Lady Sisters L, and then we're gonna throw down a face down, and I think we Tribute to the Doomed. Let's go ahead and toss out this dragon, and we will destroy the Raidacross. Throw this one down as well, and we will try to win the game next turn with a Seal Array play. Swing over the CF. They do have a trap card, but it isn't good enough. With only one monster, enough big things could ruin me. However, I do have another widespread ruin, but I think Paco is actually going to throw the phone across the room if I use it here. That's 2,500 plus 6. I think I'm just going to let them attack for this turn. I am giving them the homie no widespread, as I might even have a lethal line anyway. Swinging into this hilt. We draw. We find a winged dragon, Guardian of the Fortress, and we know there's a trap card there. So let's go ahead and Dragon's Inferno. Blow up this one. And it's Shield and Sword, a card I wasn't really expecting. We summon the Cybertech Alligator. Set the Tyhone. Set the Counter Pigeons. And then we Talismanic Seal Array to try to get in for game. Let's return the Faith Bird, Pet Dragon, and the 2 boss monsters. Well, actually, we're going to keep one around for a Counter Pigeon. So let's put that one back in the deck. Then we debuff Hilt, set Counter Pigeons, and then we battle. And this is lethal if they don't have the widespread ruin. But it looks like they might finally be resolving their own copy. Right, and they start battling. And I think they actually do have game. Counter Pigeons is not enough. And even if I widespread, they have exact lethal. Perhaps I shouldn't have saved the widespread ruin. Enter battle and see if we can't run over this Sanctity. It looks like no card was activatable. But we do run into a Doriado 1400 wall. And then another one in a Strange Cat. But we do at least manage to clear that one, as Faithbird has 1500. We pass it over. A standard play for this deck is going to clear my Harpy Lady Sisters pretty easily. But are they going to be able to clear the low-level monsters as well? That is often where the deck struggles. And if you don't get the full board clear, that's basically free card advantage for me to generate on the next turn when I use them as tribute fodder. Presumably, they do have a hilt, which they revealed for the skill. And that's going to boost up the Raidacross to 2,700. However, hilt only has 1,300 attack, so they are going to need to activate Rightful Magic if they want hilt to clear either of my monsters. They set a new card, and Rightful Magic makes a showing, reducing Faithbird down to just 900. However, if they choose not to clear the Winged Dragon, there is a chance our Dragon's Inferno goes online, and I will be targeting the card on the right, should I get the opportunity. We do not. We are stuck without a high-level monster, which means discarding Harpy Girl and just bonking the Raidacross with Tribute to the Doomed. We actually have no way to clear out Doriado, so let's just set the rest of our hand and see if we can at least get rid of Hilt and inflict 100 damage. My opponent has something, but we don't know what it is. Unfortunately, our face down is only a Talismanic Seal Array. However, like I mentioned, the deck struggles to clear all 3 monster zones, or giving us access to an additional monster on our turn. Let's go ahead and summon Tyhone before tributing it off. No dragons are available, so we're just gonna put the trap cards face down. And then we boost the Harpy Lady Sisters. I want to clear the Doriado, so we're gonna flip up Harpy Lady and triple back 2 monsters. I don't mind putting the right side back in the deck, as the middle piece will serve as our Trick Pigeon target. We could also use the Seal Array here. So we're activating the Talismanic Seal Array to prevent losing to a Sword and Shield play from Paco when we swing in with the Harpy Lady Sisters. And that lets us also finish getting rid of the cards in our hand. It is indeed Sword and Shield, so I'm happy to have played around it. We see another Light Sorcerer, and this time, they have actually brought in another Light Spellcaster monster, allowing the Sorcerer to provide a 600 point debuff. And then, when paired with Rightful Magic, it's another 600. We do have the Counter Pigeons, but that is not enough. However, Widespread Ruin is pretty good here. And then, Counter Pigeons is going to reduce this to 800. By drawing into 2 more boss monsters, that is going to be game. For sure. Battle phase, no need to use the skill, let's just attack. And head into game 3. We have, once again, opened 3 trap cards. Let's just bring in the Harpy Lady Sisters and see if they can deal with it. I feel like they can't. And here comes a Light Sorcerer of Sanctity for an additional debuff. Fortunately, there is not a second Light Sorc, as that would be a 1200 debuff. 300 might be manageable. And then Rightful Magic is going to provide a debuff down to 1200. Our Widespread Ruin can clear out the Raidacross, and then we can trade with Counter Pigeons. We clear out both of their monsters with our traps, meaning we can just go ahead and play down our entire hand. Unfortunately, we don't have a dragon monster to really turn the tilt knob. But that's okay. We will swing in with the 3 we have. Alright, Light Sorcerer of Sanctity, providing another debuff. But Paco is dangerously low on life points. However, it's possible they needed it in order for their other monsters to clear. We can let the Harpy Lady go down. And then we try to draw into a dragon monster. We draw the Winged Guardian. However, we have Harpy Lady Sisters in the graveyard, which I think we need to grab. We are ditching this Tribute to the Doomed for the sisters anyway. So I guess it works out. Let's go ahead and... in order to actually use Harpy Lady Sisters' effect, we need to tribute off Tyhone. Activate the skill, and boost it up. And then we will boost it even further by using 2 monsters back into the deck. Unfortunately, boosting a Faith Bird doesn't let us clear, so we have to stack the buff onto the sisters. Alright, and they do have the Widespread Ruin. Perhaps we should have just summoned this Guardian. We also still have a Trick Pigeon in hand to get the sisters again next turn. It looks like Paco doesn't have anything though. All they do is swing over my Trick Pigeon. Our move. And we draw the one that's immune to Widespread a turn too late. However, I don't think we can really complain about it too much. Let's bring in Harpy Lady Sisters L over Tyhone. And then we'll summon the Faith Bird to guarantee we clear out the opposing monsters. Activate Hysteric Force, boosting up to 2600. And then Talismanic Seal Array can seal this game. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Debuff by 1400 and swing. Oh, but they have the sword and shield, allowing them to survive the turn. Fortunately for us, the Raidacross still loses, thanks to the debuff from the Seal Array. And now, this board should be pretty difficult to out, even if they use Hilt to gain 600 attack. Counter Pigeons would lower them by 700. And that's it. Overall, this was a little bit more lopsided than I expected. The plan was that Paco had access to all the paid cards, so stuff from the structure decks and the bundles, and then I was using the cheapest deck. However, it turns out Counter Pigeons becomes a lot better when your opponent doesn't have big debuffs from the skill. Additionally, I had a copy of Dragon's Inferno, which was able to repeatedly find Widespread Ruins. So perhaps we should have given Paco Magical Stream access. But all that said, I think at the end of the day, we have conclusively proven that free-to-play decks are just as good as the best pay-to-win things you can assemble. Thank you for watching.